Hello everyone, Hamas28 here, and today we're back in the world of Reclamation. So, we've taken enough detours now that we can continue with the main quest line and start getting some archaic bricks. You've been waiting, and we're finally going to use this beam cannon. Although I actually have no idea how this entire setup works. If you take a look, your first archaic brick can be made by infusing a regular brick with tainted gold and infused iron. Once you have one, you can use it to make more by simply infusing it with more clay and soul sand. Archaic brick. So this is saying how to make more, but how do we get the first one? Infuse a regular brick with tainted gold and infused iron. Oh, here it is. Tainted gold, infused iron. So we're going to need gold and iron. Probably should have got more gold in between episodes. But hopefully, we only need one to make the first brick, and then we can make more using clay and soul sand. Delicious toast. Oh yeah, I forgot that tainted gold takes a lot longer. I wonder why. Something I never understood is that cooldowns and like uptime on a machine really only makes sense if it serves a purpose. And at least for me, it doesn't really serve a purpose to have like infusing gold take longer than infusing iron. Like to me, that should take the same amount of time because it's such a manual process anyway. Now, according to this, we take one tainted gold, one infused iron, tainted gold, infused iron, and a regular brick, right? Regular brick. So we should have clay. So if we turn this guy... Oh yeah, I took your switch. Is it this one? Yes. So if we come over here. Done. Gotta love it. Works so fast. And then throw this in the middle. Now this needs the power. Let's grab our hammer here. Let's see, we'll steal you for a second. Put that over here. Okay, so that's charging the cannon. So we flip this. Does this work? I mean, it shows this aspectus, but I'm not actually sure how you apply these. Copper and iron aspectus. Like, do you just right-click them here? It's not super clear. Where's my quest book? We take a look. I think it's in here. Aspectus. Wrapping molten metal around an ember shard. When placed on the bottom of alchemy pedestals. On the bottom? Okay, so let's flick this. Power's gonna keep going in there. So we need copper aspectus. Aspect. Ingot, ember shard, molten copper. Wait, ingot. Ingot stamp. Take the plate stamp out of there. So we need ingot stamp, ember shards. I have ember crystals. I think I used all the shards. Does it have to be a shard? Can I make the shards? Oh, you can stamp the crystal into a shard. That's actually quite funny. There's no more in here, because I used them. Alright, I'm going to run down to the boar, see if we have some waiting to be collected. It's a good thing we keep this guy running all the time. So we have some more ember shards, some more grit, and some crystals. Sadly, this still doesn't work. Someone said how I could probably fix it, but I haven't tried fixing it yet. I should probably do that. It would make going up and down so much easier. Anyways, back up we go. Alright, so let's make some aspectus. So we're going to need one ingot of copper and an ember shard. 1, 2. And it said you just put this in here. And 1, 2 ingots of copper. Throw that in here. Should be enough power in here to run it. And then this should work. And then it said you have to put these on the bottom. Ember shard? Why aren't you? How's ember? Oh, I didn't put the stamp in. That's why. There we go. 2 copper aspectus. Now instead I have to put these on the bottom. Oh, okay, there we go. So they just show up here. Okay, now if I turn this on, looks like it's doing something. Has a very cool animation. It's taking quite a long time though. Alchemical waste. Cool. Okay, I had a call right when that happened. So we got alchemical waste. That is not an archaic brick. Are we doing something wrong? Let's see. Beam cannon. The spec die. Needs energetic alchemy. This is energetic alchemy. So am I missing something? I don't quite understand. Let's see, because if we look at the archaic brick, aspectus, and it says you get 2, but we didn't get 2. We got alchemical waste, which you could turn into ash. So I guess we gotta try again. Huh. I don't know what we're doing wrong. Let's see. Let's do this again. Alright, got all the materials again. So this time I realized I had to right click to tell it's done. Let's see. Ember Alchemy is truly a marvelous discovery. The first key is the exchange tablet. Right click on it to insert an item. The next is the alchemy pedestal. These bear a spec die on the bottom and ingredients on the top. For an alchemy recipe, place a pedestal for each needed ingredient about the tablet, add 1 of the required aspect die on every pedestal and strike the tablet with the beam cannon. The exchange tablet will output items into a bin if it's placed underneath, but output items can also be extracted from the bottom. Input items are blocked from being extracted on the bottom face, so only output items will be extracted. So this doesn't say anything about it not working. Okay, that does open this. Let's see. You've quickly discovered that alchemical transmutations do not always work. For all but one particular combination of aspect die, your alchemy will fail and result in alchemic waste. This waste can be visibly analyzed by right-clicking it to determine how far off you were from the true recipe of your desired product. You've noticed that the number of glowing spots in the waste correspond to aspect die that were placed on the correct ingredient. A pale spot indicates an aspectus that is found in the recipe but not placed on the correct ingredient. Huh? You notice no differently colored spots in the waste. Wait, so you're telling me... Why? Who designs it like this? If I want a product, I want to be told how to make it. But you're telling me I'm gonna have to try this multiple times to get the right thing. Okay, let's see. Because I don't even remember which one I placed where. Okay, done. Let's see, what does this say? It can be difficult to keep track of your guesses and which aspectus is in the correct spot when researching an alchemy recipe. The code-breaking slate can store up to 7 pieces of alchemical waste and will display your guess along with the differently colored spots in the waste so you can focus on cracking the code. These are the mechanics of alchemy as you currently understand them. A glowing spot means a correct aspectus on the correct ingredient. A pale spot means a correct aspectus on the wrong ingredient. The spots seem to appear in no particular order. Multiple aspecti of the same type can occur in a recipe. Not all possible aspecti will occur in the true nature of the recipe. I don't even want to know what all of this is. Code-breaking slate. Code-breaking slate. Let's see. Code-breaking slate. You're kidding me. Why would you lock the item behind the mechanic you need to use the item for? Okay, so we need archaic bricks to make the slate. Well, I guess we need iron aspectus, I guess. So for iron aspectus, ember shard, iron, ingot stamp. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2 in here. Iron in there. Stamp, okay. And this said, you notice no differently colored spots. How far off? A pale spot indicates aspectus that is found in the recipe but not placed on the Okay, so if there's no correct spots, then it's not copper aspectus. I think that's what that means. So take these out, store those in the backpack, grab these aspectus, 1, 2, infused iron, tainted gold, put our brick, blast it. Now let's see if that works. Who designs a mechanic like this? Where they're like, oh, you can use a copper or an iron aspectus. And then you're like, oh, okay, let me use this copper. And then it doesn't work. And then it's like, ah, yeah, we told you can use copper, but it won't actually get you what you want. Sorry, dude. There we go. Archaic bricks. So now if you're watching, make your first archaic bricks using iron aspectus. And then it wants you to make the code breaking slate next. Like so. Now we can make more archaic bricks. Like, look at this. This is so annoying. Clay, soul sand, archaic brick. This lets you make 5 archaic bricks. So it's a lot cheaper. And I made soul sand in advance for this. Soul sand, clay. So it's clay, soul sand, archaic brick. But it's either iron or silver aspectus. So we need another iron aspectus here. 1, 2. Then we need 3 silver aspectus. 1, 2, 3. Put this in here. Actually, we could just put all of it in there. 1 in there, and then put this in here, so it'll make it automatically. So that means, at least through this, we're wasting less useful material. Like clay and soul sand, that's fine. That's way cheaper than gold and iron. But this is a pain. So if we do this with all iron aspectus, and we light it up, let's see what it gives us. So we put clay here, soul sand over here. Okay, that should be the silver, almost done. And alchemical waste, cool. This didn't use the clay. You notice 2 glowing spots in the waste. Now why did it not take that one? That's so strange. They're in the same spots, and it works, so I mean... Okay, so we have 2 glowing spots. You notice 2 glowing spots in the waste. Glowing spots in the waste correspond to a spectite that were placed on the correct ingredient. So I bet the soul sand has to be a silver aspectus. I bet that's what it has to be. So place that there. Soul sand, clay, soul sand. Because it said 2 are correct. And since soul sand is the only different, then it's likely that soul sand has to be silver aspectus. Blast this. And the clay has to be iron. Who added puzzles in this? This is not a puzzle game, this is a tech mod. Regardless, we'll figure it out. At least some of these are a lot easier. Like, the number of inputs is not that difficult. There we go, 5 archaic bricks. So now we could just make more bricks like this. Easy enough. Now we do have this extra alchemical waste, and I guess the only use for this is using the flat stamp Camonite blend, so let's make that. That way it doesn't take up space in our inventory. I think I have some more Camonite blend here. That's not enough. We need 8. Clay and glass. I mean sand. We don't have any sand. I can craft sand now. Fire and dirt. Fire essence. Dirt essence. Come over here. Sand. Sand. That's why it's so useful. We can just craft sand at will. No need to go farming anymore. And then it was... how do I make this? Like that. Raw stamp. Turn this on. Throw the stamp. Turn it off. Grab the stamp. Trade this. And then I should be able to just throw it in here, right? Cool. 16 ash. Sand. Wait, no, not sand. Clay. Soul sand, clay, clay. Now, we should have enough to make the code-breaking slate. But then you look at this, and it takes copper or lead. So we need a lead aspectus. One here. One here. Ingot stamp. Ingot stamp, ember shard, lead. So if I had to guess, I think it's gonna be the archaic bricks have to be copper and this one has to be lead. So we trade this for lead. Trade this out for copper. And then you need ember grit. I do have one. Put the grit in there. Archaic brick and a Camonite plate, which I made a bunch of those, so they should be in here. There we go, Camonite plate. Archaic bricks. So this should work. And then if this is wrong, then there'll be pale spots, which means this has to be copper and these have to be lead. Hopefully I'm right. Alchemical waste. You notice one glowing spot and 2 pale spots. Huh? A glowing spot to correct aspite that were placed on the correct ingredient. A pale spot indicates aspectus that is found in the recipe but not placed on the correct ingredient. 2 pale spots, 1 glowing spot. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it says 2 were right. Wait, it says 2 were right, 1 was wrong? 1 was right, 2 were wrong. And looking at this, if I look at this one for a clue, this was silver, iron, iron. Okay, so that's actually not helpful at all. You notice 1 glowing spot and 2 pale spots. No, wrong one. A glowing spot indicates aspecti that were placed on the correct ingredient. A pale spot indicates aspectus that is found in the recipe, but not placed on the correct ingredient. So is it copper on the caminite plate? Actually, this one didn't... Huh. So if we do this... So one of these was right. You notice one glowing spot and two pale spots. Okay, okay. A glowing spot indicates that they were placed on the correct ingredient. A pale spot indicates asbestos that is found in the recipe but not placed on the correct ingredient. So does one of these have to be lead? Maybe that's what I'm missing. 1, 1. So let's try this. One goes in here, one in there. Maybe it's 2 lead and 1 copper. So we're gonna trade this one for lead. Not the plate, we want our grit. So we have 2 lead aspecti and 1 copper aspectus. And I think that's the plural, right? Because like octopus is octopi, aspectus, aspecti. Alchemical waste. You notice 2 glowing spots in the waste. One glowing spot and 2 pale spots. 2 glowing spots. Asbestos found in the recipe but not placed on the correct ingredient. So is it this is copper and this is lead? Archaic, archaic. Wait, these were left over, so maybe that is the case. And then this one had to be a caminite plate. Take you off, that here. Grit. Oh, it ran out of power, that's why. So first we did lead, copper, copper. Then we did lead, lead, copper. Now we're trying copper, lead, lead. 2 glowing spots in the waste. Okay, so this one has to be copper. This, but I tried lead. Copper. Remember grit. We need some more caminite plates. I thought I already did lead. Okay, let's try this. I thought I already did lead, that and that. Converting, chemical waste, 2 glowing spots. And now this one's gone. And a glowing spot indicates correct asbestos that were placed on the correct ingredient. So does it all have to be lead? No, one of these... 1 glowing spot, 2 pale spots. So when we did this one, this was lead, copper, copper. This is lead, copper, copper. This one says 1 glowing spot, 2 pale spots. And we did copper sheet, brick, like so. And that gave us glowing and 2 pale spots. A glowing spot indicates asbestos that were on the correct ingredient. A pale spot indicates asbestos that's found in the recipe but not placed on the correct ingredient. I don't understand. Okay, try this one again. Oh, I didn't put the grit. There we go. And it said aspecti. A pale spot indicates aspectus that is in the recipe, but not placed on the correct ingredient. Okay, let's take a look at this. 1 glowing spot and 2 pale spots. The glowing spot, correct aspecti on the right ingredient. Pale spot indicates aspectus that is in the recipe, but not on the correct ingredient. I don't get it. Archaic bricks. It says one of them is correct. So could it be this is lead, this is copper, brick, ember grit? Because it's clearly 2 copper, 1 lead aspecti. And there's only 3, so the total number of combinations is not that high. So it's what, 3 choose 3 without replacement, so there's only 9 total combinations. There we go, the code breaking slate. How does it work? Do you do that? I thought I had one more. There it is. Okay, cool. So this shows you how it works. Glowing spot, pale spot, pale spot. So you could see when we did lead here, copper, that 1 was correct and 2 are pale. And then we tried it again to get the exact same outcome. And then when we did this one, 2 glowing spots, because the copper was right and the lead was right, but this one had to be copper as well. This is so annoying. Luckily this book we only have to craft 1 time. Let's take these out. What's more annoying is there a way to store these? Let's see, code breaking. Like, can I use this to craft something to store the recipes? Because now that it's done, like this book we only had to craft 1 time. The Camonite bricks, this was silver, iron, so that's not too... I don't know if you could hear the motorcycle out my door. That was quite loud on my end. Trade this for that. Put that back in here. Last one. There we go. But I'm thinking this is actually going to be quite annoying. Let's see. Mnemonic inscriber, when attached to an exchange tablet and given paper, will automatically write down the correct combination of aspecti for a given transmutation. There we go. This is what we want. Ember crystal, intelligent apparatus. Please. And this one takes 4. Oh my god. Okay, pop these off. Why? So we need another alchemy pedestal, which takes dawnstone, camonite bricks, and a copper block. Let's see, how much dawnstone do we have? 5. We need 2 of them to be plates. So swap this out, put our plate stamp, melt it down. We need a copper block. And then we need 2 camonite bricks. And I think that's it. Oh, and the crystal. 1 crystal. Oh, the shards are in the backpack, that's why. 2 plates. Okay, alchemy pedestal. We'll put it right here. We'll move these over. Okay. Now it said you attach it to the exchange tablet and give it paper. Attach it where? Like to the side? I mean, I guess the side works. What's annoying, and I just realized, like, look, this one. Oh. What is that? I'm not sure. Explosion charm pedestal, cool. Like this one, okay, takes 3. This one takes 5. This one takes 6. And it says it can take any aspectus. Oh, with the creative ember source. Oh. Okay, so this one we're not actually gonna do. There's no way to craft this. Blaze cake. Oh, interesting. So there is a recipe for the creative blaze cake. Take a normal blaze cake, then you need to deploy an experience droplet and molten dawnstone 100 times. Oh, that's pretty useful. It's actually not too expensive either. 100 dawnstone is only 50 gold and 50 copper. Looks like the only difficult part is the experience droplet, which you get from this enigmatic queen. Interesting. But this is going to be annoying. Okay, so the last thing I want to do before we finish off this episode is craft the mnemonic inscriber. And this can take copper, lead, or silver. So we need copper plate, copper, and archaic circuits. And these take archaic bricks and copper. So we're going to need more archaic brick. So I'm going to craft these, because that's going to take clay, soul sand, clay. This was silver and iron. So silver, iron, soul sand, clay. So I'm going to make some more archaic bricks. That way we can craft these circuits. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, we got our bricks. So let's craft some archaic circuits. 1 and 2. For 2 of these. And we're gonna need more, because I'm definitely gonna fail this on the first try. And it also needed copper plates. So let's make like 6 copper plates. I think that's a good number. Let's see, plate stamp. Yep. Grab our aspectus. And let's see. So this will take copper, lead, or silver. So we don't need the iron. Copper, lead, silver. Let's see. So let's try. We're going to do lead, silver, copper. So lead, silver, copper. Copper is going to go on the copper ingots. Copper ingot. Grab our plates. These go in the middle, right? Yeah, plates go in the middle. And then the circuits go here and here. Okay, let's try it. So by trying the lead, silver, and copper on the first try, it'll tell us which ones are present in the recipe. Because it's possible none of them are present. It's possible one of them isn't present. Okay, grab the copper. Alchemical waste. You notice 4 pale spots in the waste. Okay, 4 pale spots. Aspectus that is in the recipe but not placed on the correct ingredient. Okay, perfect. We got really lucky. So this means lead, silver, copper are all present. So this is it. So we don't need any more aspectus. Now it does mean that they're in the wrong spot. So luckily, Since we're only dealing with copper and archaic circuits, and we're going to need one more archaic circuit, we know, because we tried this. This is the setup we tried. So all the aspectus are correct. But since all of them are pale, we can actually swap these. And I think this will be the correct permutation. Because it said all four of the aspectus were right, but none of them were on the right item. There we go. Intelligent apparatus. Now we can combine it with our ember crystal to make the mnemonic inscriber. Now we can place this, not there, to the side. And instead we have to give it paper. Only 2. Okay, that's a little annoying. I think I have some more paper somewhere. Yep, there we go. When attached to the exchange tablet and given paper, it'll automatically write down the correct combination. So now if we give it this paper, can I craft more of these? We need more bricks. Oh, so we can actually do this, this, this. Take these off. I should have screenshotted that before I did it. Okay, it was lead, silver, copper, copper. I'll remember. I hope. Clay, clay, soul sand. And it took iron and silver. Silver and iron. It was silver, iron, iron. Clay. Oh. Clay, soul sand, iron. Iron. Clay. Brick. So now if I do this, it should write down the recipe. Waiting for it to finish. This is my waiting song. Alchemical note. Cool. I like the effect. Is this extremely tedious and I hate it? Also yes, many things can be true at the same time. Now I'm gonna need a chest to store all of this stuff. So let's grab a chest real quick. Oh, I forgot that was in there. Like so, and we'll put you right here. And it's raining. I did it all right. Why are you raining? Now let's see. Luckily, the inscriber and the code breaking slate we don't have to craft again. We only need to craft one time. But the archaic brick is something we'll want to remember that crafting recipe. But now that we have that, we can finally move on to alchemical conversion. What is even this? The wildfire core. See, this one takes 4, and it could be any one of these 4 aspectus. And takes an ancient mode of... Oh, it's a thunderstorm. Perfect. I can sleep through these. Hehehehe. Did it stop raining? I sure hope so. No, it's still going. No, it stopped. Take a look at our living room here. Have our little... It's cute. When you connect the rain gutter together and do it like that, it actually pours out water when it rains. Which is really nice. Really good touch. Oh, why is my game... Okay, there we go. I was worried the game was going to crash for a second. Also put the paper in there as well. So let's see. So how do we get an ancient mode of core? Takes 3 archaic brick, an ember shard. and Dawnstone Aspectus. So we're going to need more Dawnstone. We're pretty much going to need at least 3 of all of these Aspectus for some of these. So I'm also going to want to store the Aspectus in here. Pull these off. And then we're going to have to trash the waste as well. But hey, that's pretty good. This is a very tedious process, but at least they give you the tools to make it easier, like the code-breaking slate. But now we're almost complete. So for alchemical conversion, this is pretty simple. Take any sulfur, beryl, 2 dawnstone, copper, and archaic brick. We have 1 more dawnstone available, so we can actually craft that right now. We just need the beryl, I think. Yeah, we need a beryl. 1, 2. Might be 3. Convert that. Slab it up. To make a beryl, we're going to need some kind of sulfur, which we have a ton of over here. Put the dirt, beryl. Oh, we need 1 more dawnstone. A little bit annoying, so I'll craft that real fast. You remember the recipe, it's just mix copper and gold. We're out of gold too, I just realized. No matter, we have gold available to us in this chest over here. There it is. Leave 1. So we have 19 gold. So I'm going to turn this into gold ingots real quick. And when we come back, we should have everything we need to finish the final crafting recipe of the episode. Alright, we got 2 more dawnstone, which is just enough to craft our fermentation vat. Done. Now with this, we can convert between sulfurs, and to do so it says you must place water, sugar, and the sulfur you want to ferment into the vat. Then shift right click it to close it, and start the fermentation process. Once the barrel opens, your fermentation is done, and you can take out your shiny new niter. Alchemical niter can be converted in the reformation array, similar to how you convert sulfur. Note, however, that depending on what type you're trying to convert, will require more than 1 niter. So, we can take any sulfur, and as you remember in this chest over here, we actually have a bunch of dirt left over from when I was making more dirt. But then I realized it was kind of a waste of time. So if we place this here, we throw in our... How do I put the sulfur inside? Water, sugar, and the sulfur you want into the vat. It does look sideways. Let's see. No, that doesn't do it. How do you put the stuff inside? Let's see. It said sugar, water, and the sulfur. There we go. Water. Water goes inside. Sugar. Well, it lets me put sugar and water. Why can't I put the sulfur inside? Place water, sugar, and the sulfur you want to ferment into the vats. Then shift right click to close it. Okay, but why can't I put stuff in it? Fermentation, uses, sulfur coal, gems, rare gems, common metals, rare metals, copper, precious gems, precious metals, rare metals, common minerals, common metals, common gems, rare gems, copper again, coal, precious metals. Huh. Okay, it seems like they don't want to let you just convert dirt. That's really sad. I thought this would be a good way to get rid of all my dirt stores, but I guess I'm wrong. But it does seem like you can put copper in there, and we have quite a lot of copper. So let's throw in all this copper. Okay, so copper works. But what is the ratio? So if we do this one, and look for copper. Common. I think, well, this looks like iron, zinc. Let's see. Oh, there we go, copper. Copper is by itself. Oh, because it makes abundant metals. This one doesn't say sugar though, it says any crop. Huh. Wonder if this will work. 1 water. Okay, let's close it up. And let's see what happens. It might take a long time. And it says sugar. This one said sugar, but that one said any crop. So I wonder if it'll even work. No, it's working. And it reopened. So now it made abundant metal. So if you right click it, you get 1 abundant metal. So now with digestion, common metals. Interesting. Copper, abundant metals to make copper. So I'm guessing... interesting. So I'm guessing since this is abundant metals, you can't convert this... No, abundant gems, abundant other metals, abundant metals. Huh. So I'm guessing you can't convert it into other stuff. We need the digest 4 of it to let it make common metals. So not nearly as broken as I thought. I thought this would let me convert copper into stuff like gold, but it doesn't look like you can do that directly. Which is a little sad. Because you can see here, this is the target. So you can use it to make more copper. You can use it to make more niter for abundant gems, and it takes 2 of these. Abundant other minerals, probably like coal. Abundant metals. Huh. So not nearly as useful as I thought. I thought we could start making gold en masse, which would be a lot faster. Okay, so that's explained here. The digestion vat lets you convert sulfurs between rarities. Place niter and some sal ammoniac, and if you're converting upwards, some alchemically pure gold into it, and shift right-click the vat to start the process. 4 of the previous tier converts into 1 of the next tier and vice versa. This, in combination with the fermentation vat, allows you to convert iron sulfur into common metal niter, down into 4 abundant metal niter, into 4 copper sulfur. That's 4 copper per iron. This is a metal loop you could try automating. Tip, you can start and stop the vats using a redstone signal. Now this is a loop we could automate, but we don't want to loop iron to copper, we want copper to iron, because currently we have to use this whole setup to turn copper into iron, but if we could just loop this from copper and iron, this should be easier, kinda. It just takes a lot more sugar. So if we have 51 of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, we need 51 sugar and a lot of water, as you can see there. So if you close that up, it'll start converting into more alchemical niter. But then can we convert this into common materials, and then that can be converted, into abundant, can go into rare metals. So this will let us turn 4 iron into rare metals, being silver and gold, but it takes a gold to do so. And alchemically pure gold only takes 1 gold ingot to get 20. Okay, so that's not so bad. I thought it was going to be like a 1-to-1, but since it's this 1 gold ingot equals 20, that's actually not too bad. Interesting. We're advancing through the ages and getting more alchemical technology. This right here is going to be a pain, I can already tell. But regardless, I'm your host, Homins28, and I'll see you guys next time.